Wall Street Willie, I have a real big question for you. Yes, what is it? What is a bond? Well, a bond is basically a loan that you make to a company, just like a bank makes a loan to you. Whoa, that's awesome! You mean I can lend money to someone in a big, huge business with only a penny? Not exactly. Well, then what do you mean? I can just lend money to someone? Yes, you can just lend money to somebody by buying a bond. How is a bond different from a stock? In a stock, you are owning part of the company, but in a bond, you have a loan that you make to the company, but you do not own any of the company. But then what's the point of getting a bond? The point of getting a bond is that a bond pays interest. For example, they can make up if they want to pay it monthly, yearly, or once every 3 months. And every time they will pay you a certain amount of interest that's a percentage of the principal or amount that you gave to them for the loan. Well, that's awesome! But how much interest does it pay? Well, the coupon, or how much interest it pays, is dependent on what bond it is and how much the issuer or person who's making the bond wants. So you mean I can just make up an amount if I issue a bond? Well, yes, but you'd have to start a business so that you can issue a bond. Is a coupon that you get for interest in a bond like a store coupon? No. A store coupon gives you a discount on something that you buy, but this coupon gives you plain old money. Awesome! I like bonds! I have another question for you. How long would it take me to get my principal or money I gave him back? Well, that depends on the term of the bond or how long it's for. You will get the principal or amount you gave for the loan or bond back at the end of the term, which can be decided by the company. But you can also sell your bond to another person on the bond market. Well, there's so much selling and stuff, but how expensive is a bond anyway? A bond is pretty much as expensive as the person who issues the bond decides. It can be $100, $1,000, even $10,000. Whoa! $10,000 is a lot of money. Well, that's just plain great. Yes, and do you have another question? Well, yes, I do. I do have another question. Can I issue my very own bond that costs $1 billion and its term, or how long it's for, is 100 years? In fact, you can. If you own a business, you can do a bond for that business. Whoa, that's awesome! But in real life, have there been any bonds that were 100 years or a lot of money? Well, that is true. There have been bonds. In 1993, Disney had issued bonds with a term of 100 years, and they are due in 2093. And that's when they'll get their principal amount back. So real life business issued 100-year bonds? Yes, they did. So it's possible? Yes, it is possible. I have another big question for you. Where can I buy a bond? Can I buy it from a grocery store? Not really. You cannot buy a bond from a grocery store because, like stocks, special people called brokers are the only ones who can buy bonds at bond exchanges. And you can also buy a bond through a bank. Well, are there different kinds of bonds? Yes, there are different kinds of bonds, but that's a story for another time. And one more thing. Remember, finance is your friend! Hey people, if you enjoyed this video or learned something new, please like, share, and subscribe For more easy pizza finance,